Hey, it's Harry here. Apple has announced the next series of iPhones for 2018. So what we know right now is that there are going to be 3 new iPhones, much like last year, and there will be a 5.8-inch model, a 6.1-inch model, and a 6.5-inch model. For right now, no one is really sure what they're going to call this generation of iPhone, so I'm just going to refer to them as the 5.8-inch model, the 6.1-inch model, and the 6.5-inch model. Something important to note is that all of these iPhones will be put at different price points, with the 6.1-inch model actually being the cheapest version. The 5.8-inch and the 6.5-inch model of iPhone are going to be very similar to the iPhone X. In fact, all 3 of these new iPhones will be fundamentally the same. So yes, we're saying goodbye to the home button. I've heard that USB-C might be put on this generation of iPhone as opposed to the Lightning port, but I've only heard that. And yes, all of these iPhones will be coming with a notch. So now there's no getting away from it. We're stuck in this weird phase where we have notches on phones, and right now all of Apple's new phones have notches on them. Of course, there will be an increase in performance with these new phones. They are rocking the new A12 chip as opposed to the A11 chip that we got in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus and iPhone X last year. This is the new chip that's going to be in all of these phones. And this is really fascinating. One of these phones is going to have dual SIM card slots and is only going to be sold over in China, most likely. Apparently, there's a big market for phones that have like 2 ports for a SIM card, or for SIM cards rather. And so yeah, it's only going to be sold over there, most likely, but you could probably find some way of getting an import. So there, you could have two SIM card slots in your phone. That's kind of cool. And now, while this is mostly theory, yes, there is a feature in iOS 12 that does support 2 SIM cards in the same phone, which brings me to a really interesting point of what Apple is doing with the 6.1-inch model of the iPhone. With this version of iPhone, it seems like Apple is reaching out to people who may not want to buy an iPhone because of their expense, and it seems like they're trying to get them to consider to buy an iPhone because this iPhone isn't going to cost as much. In fact, some analysts have put this phone probably in the $700 to $800 range. This isn't really a new thing that Apple has been doing. In fact, if you look at last year with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, they were priced at a lower expense than the iPhone X was. In this particular situation with the 6.1-inch version of the iPhone, it kind of reminds me of the iPhone 5C that was released back in 2013. You know, the iPhone that was covered in colorful plastic as opposed to glass and aluminum or steel, and it wasn't as flashy or as expensive as the top flagship, which was at the time the iPhone 5 and 5S. It was priced a little bit lower so people could buy it. And the thing is, that worked because I saw a lot of people with the iPhone 5C. So I think Apple is kind of doing that again with the 6.1-inch version of the iPhone. Finally, here's some things that you probably should know about the 6.1-inch version of the iPhone, because there are some things that set it apart from the other 2 iPhones, which, like I said before, are very similar to the iPhone X right now. The 6.1-inch version will be shipping with an LCD display as opposed to an OLED display. The other 2 iPhones do have an OLED display on them. It will also be in an aluminum frame as opposed to a stainless steel one. I've also heard some speculation that the bezels will be slightly bigger, like just a tiny bit bigger on the 6.1-inch version than the 5.8-inch or 6.5-inch version. And it will supposedly lack 3D touch and have some differences with internals, and the camera system is going to be a single lens only as opposed to a dual lens setup like the other 2 iPhones that are coming out with it have. Ultimately, this is to keep costs a little bit lower than the other iPhones. Like I said, the 6.1-inch version will probably be around the $700 to $800 price range, with the 5.8 version being probably about the same as the iPhone X, and the 6.5-inch version, I've heard it's going to be priced around $1,100 to $1,200. Not exactly sure about that one yet, but we will know more, of course, once release date gets here. So that's about all we know for right now. I will have some articles linked in the description box below where I got this information, stuff like that. I will also link some videos down there too. I know that several people, some big tech YouTubers, have some prototype models in their hands. guys like Everything Apple Pro and MKBHD, I've seen some videos by them. They can give you a bit of a better grasp on what the device will look like physically. Alright, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and comment below what you think of these new iPhones. Later.